So part of who we are, the Kerygma, we are called to live out, and that's a Greek word, which means a living proclamation of Jesus Christ, simply put. A living proclamation of Jesus Christ. A living proclamation of Jesus' life, his passion, his death, and his resurrection. I was on a plane coming back from South Bend. I had gone to a Catholic schools conference for bishops, which was very good. I don't know if we have any of our ACE teachers at this one. I don't think we do. So the ACE program has been really helpful. And a young lady sat next to me in the plane. Now you can often tell if somebody's open to talking or not, because they'll put their shawl right over their head and they're not open. It's not going to happen. Well, this young lady was open to talking. And I was dressed like this, and we began to talk a bit, and she shared that she's from our area, and that she has 2 children, husband, and a job, and we went through all that kind of stuff. And then she began to ask a few questions, like, if somebody is Hindu or Muslim and they live a good life, can they go to heaven? They don't know Jesus. So where she was really getting at was, why is it important to know Jesus? Now, why that struck me, and the question is a good question, but it struck me because she had gone through one of our elementary schools. And she didn't know why Jesus is important. Because it's our tradition, and I just kind of shared with her just briefly, you kind of flick a little bit of the fire that you have so that they can see it but not get burned by them when you're listening to them, okay? So I just shared with her, I says, it's our tradition that everyone's going through him in order to share in the life eternal in heaven. Everyone. That includes the Muslims and the Hindus who don't know him yet in this life. Yes, they have a chance. But wouldn't it be better to come to know him in this life and share his life in this life? And I quietly did invite her to send her children to the school she had gone to. I did invite her to do that, but it was very quiet because I could tell she wasn't going to do it yet. So Jesus really becomes the center of this, but it's also about how we listen and how we share the faith. And we'll hear a little bit more later, but there are thresholds of faith development that we found, and you probably will click these off in your head with the students you've had over the years. The first step is really, are they trusting? So do they trust you? Do they trust you? And that's part of what was going on between me and her. It took her about a half hour to get to a point where she'd ask me that question. And then, are they curious? So it was really a curiosity question coming out of some confusion. And then are they open to really listening? And that's where I think she and I really stopped at openness, because I was hoping she was at seeking, but she really wasn't quite there yet to go to Mass again, to come to church again. And then beyond that, then is discipleship. Discipleship. So you think of some of the students over the years that you've known, and where would they fit? Where would they fit? And as I'm confirming those young people throughout the entire diocese, and there's a bunch of them, and I'm fired up for them, happy for them, and they're fired up in the moment too. And they're prepared for the sacrament itself. They're prepared. But where are they in the thresholds of faith becomes a major question for us as a church. Because if they don't move at least 1 foot or toe into discipleship, when they go to college, you know what's going to happen to them because you went to college. Most of you. You know. And it's quite devastating for them unless there's something they can fall into and live through. Part of the invitation for us is to relook at how we are approaching things. So I'm not suggesting to us as a church that we have to change a lot of things. I think a lot of the stuff we're doing is very, very good. It's very good. Part of what I think we need to change, though, is our intentionality. That's part of it. So everything we do really needs to be coming from the direction of forming intentional disciples or forming missionary disciples. That's the other way to say it. Everything. And to kind of look through that lens at the things we're doing. So if there's some things we're doing that really are not making disciples, then we need to maybe reconsider. Should we be doing them? Should we be doing them? And are there some things we need to start doing that we're not doing now in order for them to become intentional disciples? And I'm talking for the little super munchkins too. The little 4-year-olds that, I don't know if it was here, but one of the schools, and I happened to lean over the little munchkins. I had
20 hands go after this cross at once.
And of course the teachers were all going, but it worked. It worked. The kids were really touched by the cross. So let me give you an example. In our RCIA programs, and I love RCIA, the Rite of Christian Initiation for Adults. I love it. It is so invigorating to see the people come alive in the faith and really beginning to move through the thresholds of faith. It's wonderful. And then to be able to celebrate at Easter the sacraments of initiation and see the smiles on their faces. Wow, it's wonderful. Statistically, what's happening to us is 70% of those people disappear off our screen within the first 5 years. So that tells me we're doing a great job with regard to sacramentalizing them, but we're not necessarily doing a great job in terms of making them disciples as Jesus asked us to do. And for that, there are some simple things we can do. One is intentionally, as we go through RCIA and just the normal program, but we do it intentionally from the direction of forming them as disciples. Because it really does change the way we look at it. And I would suggest to you that each of the different subjects you're teaching, look at it from that lens. Math, history, science, geography, all of them. And then, we're not following up with them. So there is a period of time in which they're called neophytes. In other words, beginners in the faith. So they're fully initiated, but they're still really beginning in faith. So to have mentors walking with them for that year to 2 years. Also to invite them into ministry, specifically invite them into ministry so they feel connected to the church. Or invite them into specific prayer groups, Bible study groups, adult faith formation in some form. All of that will help immensely just with that group. So part of the question for us is for the super munchkins. And I actually happen to be the pastor of a parish in Corpus Christi that was the center for the catechesis of the Good Shepherd for the super munchkins in the diocese and throughout South Texas. So we had teachers coming there every summer and during the year. And those super munchkins knew their stuff. They could tell you everything about the church, the Mass, everything. And you could tell they were starting to grow in their love of the church, but especially their love of Jesus Christ. Now, I'm not selling that program right now for your team, okay? So principals out there, don't panic, don't panic. However, I'm suggesting to us there are ways to approach forming disciples even for the super munchkins.